Three. Hello, Nadia. How are you?
Hi, Nizam. I'm really good. Thanks. How are you?
I'm fine too. And thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to interview you.
Thank you for having me. I'm stoked to be here.
Yes, wonderful. So, friends, we have Nadia here. She's from Brisbane. She's a social worker and holistic practitioner who is passionate about EFT. After spending some years working in the field of acute mental health, she became burnout. She was discouraged by the revolving door nature of the mental health system, watching so many people remaining stuck regardless of how much therapy they had. Having experienced firsthand the benefits of EFT for herself, she wholeheartedly embraced it and completed some training. She is now happily on her way to become certified practitioner with EFT International. All the best for that,
Thank
Nadia.
you.
And there's nothing she loves more than practicing EFT with people and watching them becoming unstuck. Such a great feeling it is, right, Nadia? Like all those aha moments, we're so happy. In addition,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, in addition to her services as a holistic practitioner, she also offers products that are designed to complement EFT. That's the theme of today's interview, friends. What are those products? We'll get into it in a while. She has created a variety of templates and printables to accompany your EFT practice, as well as offering design services for EFT practitioner. Her bestseller is Client Handbook Template, which is designed for EFT practitioners to edit and provide to their clients. She also is working on trauma-informed tapping journal with her mom, who is also an EFT practitioner specializing in trauma. And whoever is interested with Nadia's products, I will be making her website and other contact details so that you can straight away contact Nadia. Yes, Nadia, back to you. How did this? Of course, I read about it, but still, how did the transition between being social worker to EFT happened?
Yeah, so I worked as a social worker for a few years in acute mental health. So I was working in a mental health hospital as a social worker there.
Mhm.
And yeah, like you said before, I became really burnt out. And I had been using EFT for a really long time for myself, working with practitioners, because since my mum is an EFT practitioner, I'd learned a lot from her and had been practicing it for years. And I looked at what was happening, where I was working. And then I looked at, I guess I saw how much benefit I gained from EFT. So I thought that maybe that was more the path that I was supposed to go down. And so, yeah, I resigned from my job and started instead on this path towards becoming an EFT practitioner. And I've always been really passionate about sort of design stuff. I love playing around on my iPad and doing little doodles and stuff like that. And so I thought, why not sort of put the two together? And that just sort of happened really organically. Yeah.
Wonderful. And what all did you create? Could we see your works and have this experience of why we need what we need? And there are, of course, a
Mm.
lot of EFT practitioners and trainers who would be loving to have these tools to make it part of their work. So please share what all the different products you have created, Nadia.
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, when I started seeing clients,
Mhm.
I realized that for a lot of the people I was seeing, it was their first time learning about and practicing EFT.
EFT, yes.
Um, or they hadn't really done it for a long time, right? So for those people in the first session, it was a big sort of information overload with what is
Yes, yes. What is
EFT and
EFT and all that? Yeah.
yeah, how does it work? How do you do it? All that sort of stuff. And so I was sort of thinking to myself, like, oh, I feel like I really need to give my clients something that has all of that information in one place that's really easy for them to use and to refer back to, so that they can do their own self-tapping. Because as you know, with EFT, we want to encourage people to do it themselves at home as well, right?
Yeah.
So that's where the sort of client handbook was born. I was just doing it for myself, but then I ended up going, oh, you know what? I wonder if other EFT practitioners could benefit from having such a resource to provide to their
Excellent.
clients as well.
Yes. It
So,
also saves a lot of time, right, Nadia? Like what is EFT, to explain them from scratch and all that instead.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. So I decided to make it into a template that people could personalize for themselves. So it's designed so that when people purchase it, I send them the template and they're able to change the colors. They're able to add their own logo so that it's their own sort of, it reflects their own brand or their own personal vibe. Um, so with that, something popped up on my screen. Did you want me, am I able to screen share or something now?
Yes,
And you
yes.
wanted me to show what
I
it
have
sort of
made
looks like?
you co-host, Nadia, so that you can share the
Yeah.
screen and uh, walk us through the different products that you have created.
Absolutely. So I've never done screen sharing before, so we'll see how I go with that. Oh, how do I do that?
Just,
Do you know how?
yeah, yeah. You have below the screen. Uh,
Mhm.
okay. That's a beautiful handbook, Nadia. Please explain it more. What is it like?
Thank you. So basically, what we've got here, it really just covers the basics of what is EFT, how it works, and how to do it. So you've got the front cover here.
Mhm.
Um, you scroll down, there's sort of an area where you can say, Dear client, it's a thank you for trusting me to guide you through the tapping process. It sort of describes what's in the handbook, and is very much just an introduction to what they've received.
Awesome.
And then if we go down, there's the basics of what is EFT and how does it work. So it summarizes in really simple terms, essentially what it is, what it involves, and how it works. So it talks about, you know, how when we're tapping on those acupressure points, we're sending a calming signal to the brain so that we're able to unlearn those patterns and those beliefs that might be limiting and unhelpful. So it describes it in a really basic way for people there.
Beautiful.
And then we've got how to tap. So this is sort of broken down in a few steps. This page here sums it up as briefly as possible. And
Mhm.
then when we scroll down, there's a page that talks about how to create your setup statement, you know, which is that first part where we're tapping on the side of the hand.
Yes.
So the handbook comes at the end with a journal page that the client can print and use as many times as they like. So with the setup statement page here, it actually uses the prompts that are on the journal page. So people can use the two together.
Wow.
And then if we scroll through, we then got the sequence. So there's images that are really clearly showing people what are the tapping points. They're actually, the client handbook there's two versions of it, because I'm sure you probably know that some EFT practitioners start a round of tapping at the top of the head,
Yes.
while some EFT practitioners start on the eyebrow point.
Yes.
So I do have two different versions. This one is the top of head version. But if someone were to practice EFT by starting at the eyebrow point, there's an option for that as well that shows the images in that order.
Okay.
But yeah, this is the top of head version, and you've just got all of those different tapping points shown there. And then there's also an example. So to really help people understand how it might work, it shows those prompts with answers that people might say. So even though I feel angry, just thinking about yesterday when I got home, so on and so forth, and shows those points again, so that if people are really stuck, they have one page that they can turn back to that can help them sort of, I guess, reminds them of what they need to do when they're tapping.
Awesome. Awesome.
And then there's that journal page that people get at the end. So even though I feel whatever it is out of 10, just thinking about, and I feel it in my, and then but. And there's also a little body there that they can draw on if they feel it somewhere in their body, if they want to sort of indicate on the body there where that is. So yeah, that's pretty much what the client handbook is.
Wow. Simple and highly beneficial. So it reduces a lot of time in what is EFT, what are the tapping points, how to set up and all that. Wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. So it is designed to accompany what you're already teaching as the EFT practitioner as well. So it is really just like the basics for people there.
Beautiful handbook. Amazing work, Nadia.
Thank you.
What else have you created?
So if I can go back into Canva, there's a lot of like I've got a lot of different projects going on here.
Yeah.
This is another example of something I've done. So I've basically just made these printable journal pages that people can use. So you can print them out and use them sort of similarly to what was at the end of the client handbook there. Okay. So I've got those in a lot of different sort of styles.
With the color variations as well, right?
Yeah. So there's a few different versions of that. And I've been doing, so this is an example of a personalized client handbook that I've done for somebody. So shout out to Joan Kayla, EFT tapping teacher on Instagram. So this is another service that I offer basically with the client handbook template. If you buy just the template, it's provided to you as exactly that, as a template. So there's instructions that come with it that tell you how to use it, how to edit it to make it your own. But I realized when I put that out that there might be people out there who aren't really comfortable with technology, who aren't really confident learning how to use Canva, which is the app that you can change your handbook in, or people who simply don't have the time to edit it to reflect their own brand. So I also offer for an additional fee that I'll do it for you. So basically,
yeah, you have to.
Yeah. So I basically just ask people what sort of colors they like, or if they have brand colors already, and what sort of image they would want on the front page. So some people might go for a photo like Joan has done here. So I put that together for Joan. I've used the colors that were on her website, and then I've used that photo of her. Or some people might also like to go for a logo. So this is another one that I've done coming up now. And that's just using her logo there instead of a photo. So yeah, that's another thing that I offer is personalizing that.
It's all about personalized, how a specific practitioner needs it, you work accordingly.
Sorry, what was that?
So you are customizing based on the person's needs.
Exactly. So the basics of it is just colors and the photo and what it all sort of looks like. But I also, the price might change depending on what else the person might want. So they might want to add other pages with other descriptions of things on there, for instance. That's something I'm happy to do as well, so that they have what they need to give to their client.
Awesome. Such a great work you are doing, Nadia. It simplifies the practitioner's time and effort.
Thank you.
Okay. Apart from handbook, anything else is there? The printables you have shown. Anything else? Customized,
yes.
Handbook for the practitioners and trainers. And there is this general client handbook and the printables. 3 things I understood that you're offering.
Yes, there's one thing that I'm currently working on. I'll pop my recording of myself back on if that's okay.
Yeah, please.
Am I back?
Yes, you can. Yes, you're back.
Yes, so I've been working for quite some time now with my mum. Hold on, have you still got me? Yeah.
Yeah.
So Yeah. So we mentioned earlier that my mum is an EFT practitioner
Yes.
and she specializes in trauma. And so something that we've been working on together, sort of collaborating on, is putting together a trauma-informed tapping journal. So
That's a beautiful
yeah,
concept, Nadia.
it is. So that's taking a bit more time because we're really being quite intentional with it and quite careful with it because we want it to be a really good resource, a
Yes.
really good supportive resource for people who've experienced trauma. And I think we're the dream team for that because I've, in my role at the mental health hospital, I worked with a lot of people who'd experienced a lot of trauma, and Mum specializes in trauma. And there are a fair few other tapping journals out there. But what we found was that a lot of them, for instance, do you know what I mean when I say the personal peace procedure?
Yes.
Yeah. So the personal peace procedure, for any of your viewers who don't know, is a really fantastic procedure, sort of figured out by the founder of EFT, Gary Craig. And it's really, really great. A lot of the time, if you're becoming an EFT practitioner, you have to do the personal peace procedure. And there's a few different ways to do it. But basically what it is working on your own stuff, right? Because as an EFT practitioner, it's really important to work on your own stuff so that you're able to hold space for other people. And so the directions with that are often somewhere along the lines of listing the events in your life that you wish hadn't happened to you, rating them, as to how intense they are. And oftentimes tapping journals will take that approach, and they might even encourage people to start with the thing that's like the worst, the thing that has the most intensity for them. And what we were sort of thinking was that for people who've experienced a lot of trauma, and especially sexual trauma, for those people, that is like the worst thing that's ever happened to them. And we need to be a lot more gentle than that with people who've experienced significant trauma. It's not safe for people who've experienced a lot of trauma to jump right into like the biggest, worst thing that's ever happened to them as the starting point for their EFT practice. So that's why we decided to collaborate and work on this journal together, was so that we could create a resource for people that shows them how to tap, but in a really, really gentle and safe way. And it's going to include instructions for really gentle techniques as well, for if they do get flooded, if they do get really overwhelmed. Yeah.
Awesome. And I'm sure once that product is launched, I'll have one more interview with you to show the audience the look and feel of it, and they can avail such products too.
Yeah, absolutely. So that one is taking a little bit more time than the other products, but that's because we are really pouring a lot of love and care into it.
Yes. For quality, yes, it does take time as well. Wonderful.
Exactly.
So, Nadia, it was wonderful talking to you, because the moment I saw this, when your mom shared on Facebook, I thought, hey, why don't I interview Nadia and make sure that clients get the look and feel of it and why they need it, so that it's such a handy tool. It really helps practitioners and trainers to quickly share this with their clients, and clients also get benefited. They will have how to statement and tapping point. They don't have to memorize so much.
Yeah, exactly. Or even if, I think that one thing that can often happen in the first session, even if you tell that person all of that stuff, because you can be dealing with a lot in the first session, I just about guarantee that half of it's going to go, it's going to go right over their heads, because there's so much other stuff that you're working on. That it's hard for people to sort of grasp it. So just having something written for them to refer back to, so that they can remember when they're on their own, this can be really, really handy. And I know that I've had some feedback already. So I've only just released it about a week ago, but I've already had a fair few people saying that their clients are finding it really handy and they're really loving it. So I'm really happy with how it's all come together.
Wonderful. You're doing a great job, Nadia, and
Thank you.
I hope that a lot of useful products come to make the practitioners and trainers' life more easier.
Thank you so much. I'm definitely full speed ahead. I think that there's probably going to be a lot more where that's come from.
Okay, thank you once again.
Thank you so much.